I still feel like if you're on IG side, you just leave that top side counter pick to like last pick red, and you can go towards, you know, like Jaces, Quins. Like, I mean,
honestly, they could pick
TheShy
Quinn right now.
every AD carry under the sun. But this is the thing, right? You could then flex that towards FoFo. We talked about this double AP threat being left open between the Lily and the Nidalee, so may not want to go for it, but instead he will go towards the Gnar, giving himself a nice matchup on that top side, and especially something that if you're Shun, you can look to play around in those early stages. I wouldn't be surprised to see Shun go towards something like the Udyr or the Hecarim here if they really wanted to. I don't agree this much with the Nidalee this time around, simply because you don't have that setup on that top side of the map. You'll need to, if you're going to go for this, look elsewhere to provide that, whether it's Lucas or Rookie, to get that guaranteed engage off.
Yeah, well, Udyr and Hecarim both available, and you can see RA, they're just going to flex in towards the Lilia, as you said, still keeping that option for the Renekton to be able to flex to the mid lane or to the top side, keeping that kind of guessing game going, depending on what Rookie decides to pick. We'll wait to see what they want to lock in right now, and this is kind of one of those things, and Udyr going to be the final lock here, and that's honestly, I like this from the side of RA.
So if I'm IG, I'm looking, hey, this is hella short range, right? I mean, I've got the Nidalee, I've already got this Gnar as well. I could actually pivot in towards like a Zoe or something for Rookie in this rotation, or something along these lines, and just go, right, we're going to play this super long range composition and make it really difficult for the short range of RA to deal with. Now, RA kind of responding to this, they're like, hey, look, we need to guarantee some sort of engage, and it looks like the Flash Headbutt Pulverize is going to be that tool.
Yeah, Rel's still available here, so I would not be surprised to see IG maybe look to get that onto Lucas. Just the kind of standard, you know, it means that laning phase isn't going to be horrific for you, as Alistar or Rel, when they're left on their own against kind of more the A-tier picks, tend to run away with the game a little bit. So much CC, so much engage, and so much innate tankiness. Or maybe not. Maybe they go completely left of right field and go for something far safer.
There is also like the opportunity to go towards, they go towards the TK. I was going to say the AD carry pick here as well, because you're looking, you know, Kai'Sa gone, Triss gone, Kalista, even the Lucian to a certain extent. Like, you're kind of looking towards maybe stuff like the Xayah and Aphelios, even the Ezreal to a certain extent, but certainly you're right the way down that list when it comes towards the AD carries. Maybe Jinx could come out here for Wink just with that safety of the Tahm Kench.
See what they want to go for. You actually see IG now banning away the Zoe. Would not be surprised to see them ban away something like the Azir or maybe even the Victor, just to kind of get rid of those control. Hell, Orianna.
I think Orianna.
Just to get those control mages off the board. And for RA, you're kind of deciding what you want to go. You're banning away the Senate. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe you ban away the Jinx. There's still options available to you.
Yeah, I think if I'm RA here, I'm looking at like Orianna, because she synergizes like super well mid-jungle 2v2. Really strong for FoFo and Leyan. Get to team fights, so many ball delivery systems between the Alistar, hell, even the Renekton, and you've got speed up for what is essentially a super short melee range composition. So I think Orianna more than likely coming out for FoFo in this respect, and it looks like IG actually going to ban away the LeBlanc instead.
Ban away the LeBlanc. I feel like this is going to be straight up. They're going to pick the Orianna themselves, go into that matchup, and maybe against an Azir or something like that, maybe against a Syndra, so you're not really going to lose nor win it unless you can outplay it, and leave that final pick for AD carry to see what they are going into in this bot lane, because we mentioned it at the top of the show today. The bot lane for IG is the weak point. You do not want to go into a losing matchup, as we see now the Jinx banned away by RA.
Yeah, and there was the other safety net that we're talking about, just Jinx and also the Senna, two that work very well with this TK, but Wink has been very proficient on this Varus. He's been playing the on-hit Varus quite a lot when it comes down and the chips are on the table, so I'm not surprised to see him falling back towards this with the amount of AD carry attention we're seeing here.
He's got a couple of seconds and is going to lock that one in now. What is your response for RA? You've got a very potent and powerful bot lane kind of going up against you.
Actually, I want to look at this Varus pick a little bit more, because honestly you can go towards poke here for IG as well. So for RA, they're going to try and figure out what the hell are they going to do here, because if you end up transitioning as IG in towards this full poke orientated composition, even like the Jace still in the mid lane here for Rookie, that's going to be really hard to deal with. I don't like Aphelios. Aphelios is way too short range, and RA just put themselves into a corner where they need to find these big engages, whereas IG are perfectly fine to just play at range.
right now, depending on what, you know, the side of FoFo decides to pick up for himself right now, you're kind of relying on the 2 people or the 3 people that we didn't really highlight in the A block as such. And the Orianna can be picked up here. So yeah, you're relying on Hong and Cube and Leyan to set up your team for success. It's a very standard front-to-back team fight, but they haven't had the greatest of successes with that in the past. And we can see there the Azir rookie straight away very, very happy with going towards that. And honestly, this, like you said, this very much kind of keep you at arm's length comp, this poke composition from IG becomes very difficult for RA to get on top of if they don't have the likes of a flank or a flash.
Yeah, exactly. And I think right now, that's the IG, like, just play towards range. You don't get guaranteed engage here as IG because you got Tahm, Kench, you got the Gnar as well in this top lane, like, very hit or miss when he's going to make a Gnar out. So I think certainly IG, they'll be looking to abuse the range that they have, whereas for RA, you're looking for these big flash engages from Alistar, these big shockwaves to catch out multiple members. So for RA, they need to be the ones controlling vision and seeing if they can maneuver their front line into these flank opportunities.
And not only just that, you're looking at IG with a Tahm Kench. Even if you get on top of the Varus or the Azir, he just gobbles them up, puts them to safety, no problems whatsoever. And again, it becomes so difficult for RA to really kind of, you know, burn through this team if they can even get their damage down.
Now, I will say, if RA come out of this early game strong, it's very difficult for IG to operate because honestly, you don't have the vision control to deny like the Alistar getting in. He can hide in spots, and I mean, hell, even an Udyr can try and chase you down from a flank position. So RA, if they can get a lead, are going to look good, but honestly, they don't have a lane here that kind of screams to me, hey, let's play towards that apart from the top side of the map for Cube. But you've got a nice matchup there for TheShy on IG's side, and with all this, actually not quite poke, but certainly with the damage that can come out from this IG side at range, they've got a lot to play around now. The reason I paused is actually Wink has gone towards lethal tempo.
No, you got 4 there, sir.
Yes.
You only get 3. You do not get to do 4. As you can see, no one's really joined them in for the 4th one. But IG fans still out in force. Even though they're going down 1 game, they have got the fan support behind them. It's kind of the 6th man almost with the kind of, you know, the crowd live and able to kind of, you know, pick a side. It can be a little bit of a push forward in the right direction as we fan out across the map. No one going to be doing anything too crazy. And talk me through how you expect RA to maybe make this, you know, early game a little bit better for them.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Leyan, I can try and play towards Cube in the top side. Like, if Cube can close the distance, you can get a CC chain off that can shut down TheShy. Maybe try and transition that into a teleport advantage, which you can move towards bot and try and use Udyr's naturally strong clear to turn in towards early dragons. Other than that, though, it becomes a little bit more difficult. You're waiting until like level 6 before you can really try and make these plays in towards the mid lane. It can be a bit tough against an Azir, though, with the amount of escapes Azir has.
A very, very slippery champion indeed. As you can see there, Wink just throwing down the hail of arrows, keeping the wave pushing in his favor. And the level 2 actually from someone, or sorry, level 3 from, you know, a Varus. When you get those blighted quivers stacking up, if you can get that extra little bit damage down, it can actually be detrimental to the lane state.
And it's actually interesting to see a bit of a different jungle path from Shun toward that bot side. Because as you said, look, a lot of damage come through from Wink. But Shun, when we look, has always started on the bottom side of the map. He always passed towards TheShy. This time around, though, he has started top. He's not going to be playing around TheShy in the top lane. It looks like instead he'll be looking to try and help solidify a stronger bot side of the map. It does mean, though, for TheShy, who on this Gnar would like to push in, as you can see, like to chip away at this turret, he won't have the same pressure on the map, won't have the same vision and control to allow him to fully play towards that strength.
One thing I will say is, though, is that we just mentioned it, like, you know, when we look at all the VODs, we were doing obviously a lot of research into these teams. Like, IG always starts Shun bot and path him towards top. But they haven't shown anything on the map. They haven't shown where Shun is. So I feel like if TheShy is just constantly kind of, you know, roaming down, making sure that, you know, you're playing like Shun is top, you can get the kind of same effect where you have to play that respectfully. And you still open up Shun to try and do something here. But Leyan gonna roam down towards the bottom, actually misses the wards. So in full knowledge here of IG, they know exactly where this Udyr is, and they're gonna be playing respectfully towards the bottom side.
Yeah, it looks like instead of playing towards TheShy and his push top, they're playing towards Wink and his shove bottom. spot. You can see already the Varus doing wonders at pushing that wave in, already attacking onto this turret, and honestly, as Hung, you're just done for in this bot side. You ever try to engage, you're just not going to find any success. Wink gets gobbled up, pop back out, and you just return all that damage straight onto the Alistar.
Oh, Shun is here. That means Leyan has to walk himself all the way back because they do not want to be dealing with the 2v1 as FoFo was teleporting in. Shun needs to be a little bit more careful, though.
It is a nice job, though, from Leyan because he's allowed FoFo to teleport back into lane. Rookie didn't get the shove off, so now he's going to lose some CS and minions as the bear versus the cougar.
Look at the mini-map. Look at the mini-map. You actually have Cube roaming down into this jungle, so they now have kind of created this 4v2 situation. If IG recognize it, then they should be fine. Yeah, Lucas is roaming up here. They got the extra safety of the Tahm Kench. It becomes very, very difficult now for RI to make anything really happen, but they're kind of tentatively still pushing this.
They don't know where Cube is, but honestly, this is a big win for IG as long as they don't die to this play, because look at the top lane, right? Shy is just free farming. He's like, hey, look, I don't care where Cube's gone. Cube now has to reset, teleport into this top lane. TheShy can get full shove, quick reset for himself as well off of the slow push he's created, and hold on to that TP for map plays.
And not only that, but you had roamed up Hong towards that mid lane. Like, Aphelios versus Varus in this like kind of early stages with one item being a Doran's Blade each. Actually, it's even a longsword versus a Doran's Blade. I still say that the Varus is going to come out ahead on top of that, despite whatever guns you have.
And this is such a good matchup for the Varus. This is slightly different to what we were talking about at the opening set when it came to the Thresh, but Wink has loved this Varus pick into the Aphelios in towards the Jinx because they will play this super push heavy style. Now usually they pair it with something like the Nautilus so you can get these guaranteed engages off at level 6, but I mean sure, you've still got the Chains of Corruption for iBoy, no cleanse on this Aphelios, you can still play towards it, and if you do get a lead for Wink, he's actually been pretty damn good with it. I mean, if you look at him, he has the most kills at 15 out of any AD carry in the league, he's the third highest gold difference at 15 of any AD carry in the league. Like, this guy isn't exactly a pushover.
Speaking of not a pushover, Rookie just 1v2ing there, FoFo and Leyan, just honestly bossing it with the Azir, putting down double amounts of poke, keeping the wave state in a nice happy place. As you can see, TheShy now against Cube. And honestly, this is totally fine for the side of IG. If this keeps equal, then you're kind of, the ones that will be able to kind of come ahead once you get to those kind of, 2 item spikes.
Well, the big one here for IG is actually looking towards these dragons. If they can secure a couple of these guys early, it makes things a lot simpler later on, because you're not forced to take fights against Ore if they get ahead. You can actually look to play the map a little bit better, but speaking of Ore trying to get ahead.
Yeah, TheShy gonna have to be forced to flash away. You imagine double flash, double stun. Dominus pop it a little bit late. Will they be able to get him underneath the tower? It's a little bit risky. No. And that is why we love TheShy. Gets himself the 1v2 kill. The rest of his team picks up Dragon. Disaster for Rare Adam.
Leyan might be an IG player at heart this whole time. Yeah. I'm actually not certain,
Oh, have to stop you right there. As you do see the Shrima Shuffle coming into that mid lane, you can see Shun trying to go in. They get the knockback. TheShy is here. They land themselves the Q. Oh. Nicely done there by Hong to keep everybody away. But this is more pressure. This is more advantages being garnered here for IG, and we're not quite just done as the rest of the team stop them from taking those Raptors.
And I love how aggressive IG are willing to go because they know they've got this Tahm Kench with the exhaust. They know they've got the safety there, and you can see here Shun's like, I'm just going to wander in here. Wink has full push bot. We are playing so well around this Varus and the advantages that they can pick up. Hell, I mean, Wink is even stealing away camps right under from Leyan's nose.
This is where you start to see IG come together. This is why this series was so difficult to call, because when IG look like this, if they can continue this momentum, this almost looks like it should have been a quick, easy 3-0. But then you see the glass game, RA come back into it. There's so many different caveats there.
And that's the big thing. They had advantages in the last game. They tossed them away at Baron. And with a composition that Ore has like this, if you ever misstep at an objective, they will punish as Ore and they will grind you into the dirt. This team comp is obnoxious in the late game. So IG need to find these advantages quick. They need to try and find these advantages fast and turn that into towers, into objectives, into shutting Ore out fast before Ore can find 1 to 2 team fights in the late game and turn it all back in their favor.
This first pick, Renekton, is not having a fun time right now, and you can see there, IG totally fine giving up that pick, totally fine playing into it, and honestly coming out with a big advantage.
But I don't understand why. I mean, in the last game, Ori were like, hang on a second, we love this Renekton first pick from IG. We can play around it. We can do all these wonderful things. And then we come into game 2, they're like, no, they never existed. This was never a thing that could happen.
Well, we'll see now if they're able to make anything go, but the Boomerang just stops any kind of forward momentum. This is why the Gnar is such a good pick into something like the Renekton, and now with no dominance, Shun has got himself the Rift Herald. Maybe they go back to playing towards top.
Well, I mean, he's got the Rift Herald, as he said. He's hovering here, and TheShy, if he can land one quick shot ang, might be able to get in here.
Both supports are here, as are both junglers. You can see neither top laner has really kind of committed. As I say that, TheShy is going to miss out on a little bit there. Leyan is free to kind of roam in on top of TheShy here. He has to use his ultimate to try and get himself away. Kench is there, so should be able to keep himself alive, but nice little counterplay from RA. They were ready, they were willing to be able to kind of commit to the counterplay.
But I like that RA are here and ready for this, but look elsewhere in the map, right? Because, I mean, I'm looking at this bot lane, massive CS advantage for Wink. He's doing wonders. They haven't been able to get the chip damage that we were hoping for on the turret, but certainly this Varus is becoming a very serious menace. You're looking at Rookie in the mid as well, who's having a great time against FoFo, has already forced FoFo to go the verdant barrier route, so this Orianna's spike is already quite far delayed. So when Shun is able to get these momentum times for the Rift Herald, they can do a lot here as IG.
Only 10 minutes on the clock. Only about a 500 or so gold lead. Nothing really to be screaming victory about just yet, but we do see a nice poke coming out here from iBoy on top of the Varus, and this is kind of the little small thing. With the right guns, he can go toe-to-toe with the Varus, but it's a very clear with the right guns kind of setup. He does need that Calibrum to make sure he gets that extra little bit of distance. And with all summoners available on this bot side, Dragon spawning in a minute's time, that might be where we're seeing this first kind of big skirmish between these teams.
I'm wondering where they're going to make it happen, though, because you don't have the level 6 quite yet here for Lucas. It would have been great to like deliver Shun and Rookie in towards that bot side, use the Rift Herald there to crack open the turret and gain a lot of pressure to turn that in towards the Dragon, but not having the level 6 for the TK makes it a little bit more difficult to make those moves, and Shun fancy footing around this vision. Cube actually has no idea he's here.
His no idea is here, but will have a pretty good idea now. Yep, just backs himself all the way away. But with 30 seconds until this Dragon spawns, you're getting yourself this top lane turret. You're getting yourself a spike in gold as everyone just kind of congregates towards this top side. Leyan now in a little bit of trouble. There's the shuffle back as Rookie now finds himself out of this one. They've killed the turret, and Tahm Kench is in no man's land. Lucas flashes away, but for what reason, I don't really know. Rookie trying to run away as best he can. TheShy trying to see if he can 1v1 Cube. This is exactly what RA want. This is exactly what we talked about in the A block. They just tried to fight on two different sides. IG cannot coordinate, and IG lose 2 kills.
I think IG were like, look, RA are going to go towards Dragon. We have this timer here. We can try and make that play on the opposite side, get these turrets and some gold in favor of TheShy, but no need to overcommit for the play. They sent too many members there. RA read them beautifully, and now they got kills. Now they get the Dragon, and they get some much needed pressure on that map.
Honestly, it just, again, it felt exactly what we thought, you know, would be the winning ticket for RA. As we can see now, Shun, no red buff, so no real way of slowing him down. But again, a fight on 2 fronts, left and right. They just separated the side of IG, which I'm sure together would have been fantastically set up to deal with that, but they just weren't. They were isolated, moved around. It was all little small skirmishes.
And it was a good job from Cube here as well, because look, you can see Leyan and Cube instantly move across. They put Rookie into a really hard spot, and then here, I mean, Shun and TheShy can't commit. So Lucas is completely left out, flanked on all sides, and he will go down. So IG, what could have been them trying to turn this into 2 towers like we saw in game number 1, ends up backfiring. Ori get the kills. But again, we've got to see what else can Ori do with this, because they're kind of getting these little plays back and forth, but they're still behind when it comes to CS. They're still behind when it comes to gold, and IG still live rent-free in their jungle.
Still got pressure with this bot side. Wink picking himself up a red buff. The very annoying Devour technique with the tongue last year, able to steal all the way those buffs. It's kind of like Syndra. It's like they basically saw that and went, we like that. Let's do that for another champion as such. But Now, what can you do with this pressure? You've been able to free up this top side. I imagine Cube is just going to freeze this one. There's no real pressure for him to be anywhere. He has his teleport. You've got a couple of items being finished up here now for the side of IG. The Stride Breaker, the Kraken Slayer. You talked about the on-hit Wink Varus in the pregame. That's exactly what he's going for. So where do you want to see them make an advantage? Because there's no dragon for another 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I think as RA, it's about trying to manipulate this wave here topside his cube. You can see he's kind of started this slow push, or at least it was a slow push that TheShy started to clear out, where maybe they can try and make some plays towards mid or try and unlock cube, but it is pretty difficult for them right now. And it looks like instead they might just see if TheShy overextends, if they can make a play towards his topside with Hung and with Leyan, with FoFo in tow.
Well, it's just going to be more pain. As we see Leyan roaming up. Gnar is available to TheShy. And he's just going to be backing up. Yeah, they don't want to mess with that right now. They know that Rookie has TP. If they spend too long trying to kill him, they could be in a lot of bigger trouble. To see how much a piercing arrow does, about 270. And back away. And this is kind of where the lull state kind of happens unless we see anyone make either a mistake or an absolute crazy outplay.
Yeah, the big thing here is, like, look, obviously extended laning phases we usually see from IG games where what they're trying to do is, you know, keep powering through these lane kingdoms that we talked about, but TheShy is actually 10 CS down. Rookie ain't having the best of times here against FoFo. FoFo's happy to farm up. We talked about him having that burden barrier. He wants to stay in this laning phase. He doesn't want to have all these fights happening across the map until he can get that Leandri's Anguish, get up towards those 2-3 items. So this is fine for RA, and you can see here again, reading what IG want to do incredibly well. Leyan is down on this bot side, so they will push IG back. They're not going to be able to free hit onto this tower, and it's again drawing out the game in favor of RA.
We'll say it's still about a 15 CS in that bot side for Wings, so definitely using the early game priority you get with the Varus, but 200 years doesn't feel that it should be that quick, but it ends up being there in about 15-20 minutes, and you need to be very careful of where that Aphelios is positioned later on in this game. Has finally got his Kraken Slayer. We do see Leyan running forward, trying to see if he can catch out Rookie. He just slides himself out of those DMs.
Okay, so look, IG will eventually get this bot lane tower off the reset. The goal here now for IG is, okay, we've just invested a lot of resources in gold into Wink. Let's move him towards this Rift Tower, which has just spawned, but unfortunately for them, Leyan looks like he's already started this one up, and IG just aren't really in the area. So RA will deny this ability to continue pushing with the Rift Herald, but certainly when we look towards the ability to shove in side lanes and then group mid, IG can still look to threaten this mid lane turret.
Yep, they'll give up the Rift Herald. We are going to have another Cloud Soul spawning on our Rift. So again, not the most impactful in terms of team fight efficiency. It's going to be spawning in about a minute's time. Luke is getting some decent vision down. I really like that ward as well. It's right in the corner. It can hide a TP play should TheShy find an opportunity. And again, we're probably not going to see much happening for another minute's time. It's about a 1,500 gold lead in favor of IG.
And RA agree with you here, Penguin, because look at where FoFo is. They're not looking to try and contest this. I mean, he can shove in, right? He can look to go towards this, but honestly, I think just getting a bit more gold onto this Orianna is fine. You can see the pings going down there. They're just going to look for the turret damage instead. A Cloud Dragon doesn't mean anything to these teams.
Well, going to be probably another slow, methodical kind of mid-game. Only 3 kills now at the 16.5-minute mark. Third dragon will be going down about 30 seconds, and you can see there they're having to put Rookie up on that top side. I like this actually. FoFo doesn't have TP, Rookie does, so even if there is a random skirmish around this dragon, FoFo cannot join versus Rookie who can, so we'll see if that one does work out for them. But IG, they have to back away. They have no idea in this top side where everybody is.
And that's the big one here. You know RA are giving up this dragon as IG because you've got wards littered all over that place and nobody has managed to walk past them at all from RA. So instead, they are going to go and make a play topside. Rookie is doing a great job of respecting this, but it does net FoFo that tower, which is all they wanted at the end of the day. It's a lot of CS that Rookie has lost. Will start to move in here to try and pressure FoFo, but that just calls Hung back up, who wants to look for this dive.
Still fishing for it, but not able to get anything off of it. They will just trade tower for dragon, as everyone just kind of congregates towards their current strong or current lit up side of the map. Yeah,
the safe space.
The safe space, exactly, as we can see now with that Infernum. Pretty easy for iBoy to kind of push that
safe
one in.
space is not bot side for Cube. My God, I just saw the amount of IG members that are down here, but RA collapsing as well.
Yeah, they don't get the red buff steal. Wink does get gobbled up as he was stunned up for a very little very little quick time. And again, everyone backs away. There's no real need for anyone to kind of go for this right now. There's no objective. No, Baron spawning in 2 minutes. But again, you're not going to gain much if you take a fight here. So everyone backs away, picks up their items. You can see Night Harvester, the Luden's Tempest, all for the side of IG. And on the other side, you finally get the Stride Breaker for Cube. And you're working towards that first mythic there for FoFo. And exactly what you said with the Verdant Barrier, not really having the kind of same one. There it is. Finally gets himself onto the board with the Luden's Tempest.
And that's actually interesting to see. I thought we'd still see the Anguish, which has kind of been the bread and butter on 11.5. But with the changes to Tempest on 11.6 becoming much more about hitting hard onto these squishies, FoFo's certainly looking to be the big carry when you get hung on towards Wink, on towards Rookie, trying to even Shun, just burst out the squishies on IG and forget about Lucas or TheShy. It's threatening that back line that Ore need to do. And I think it's a great read because, as we talked about, that's how you win these fights. Otherwise, the safety from Lucas is going to be too much. You're going to have too many issues trying to control the space that IG can buy with their composition.
FoFo uses teleport again to try and get back into a lane, so he's actually again at a TP disadvantage. But what we've seen many times is that yes, you have it, it's how you use it that's the important thing. As we see side lanes just kind of being traded off. It's now equaled out the turret score though, as Cube was able to get that push into that bot side. You can see Rookie pushing into the top side. He's going to reset, and again, lots of kind of just trading, ping-ponging, as you will, between the two side lanes.
But I feel like IG can actually play better around TheShy. Like the fact that Cube is still got a CS advantage over TheShy, and he's losing the towers on the bottom side for TheShy. This should never happen. Like IG, you can put a bunch of vision control that we already saw on that bot side, allow TheShy to push up. If you can get that deep vision, TheShy can rotate in behind mid just as he's about to hit Mega. Look for these big flank engages, but unfortunately for them, they just haven't been able to get that control. Ore have been doing a wonderful job of Leyan, iBoy and Hung grouping up to deny that deep vision for Ore. So IG are kind of stuck like this, doing this weird half ARAM thing where TheShy isn't really comfortable to push in bot side.
They have got good poke though from IG, and you got to respect it if you're on the side of RA. You can see this is exactly what we talked about in Champ Select. If you're able to keep everyone from engaging on top of you, there's nothing you can do. The Chain of Corruption does land, but it's onto Leyan. That just backs everyone up. Now you've cracked open this mid lane turret. That's a big kind of point of contention here for IG that they've come out on top of.
I don't know if TheShy wants this fight. He
started I can tell you he doesn't.
Well, I mean,
he's trying to run away.
He's now bought the distance here as Flash Force, but here comes the cavalry.
Yeah, they're going to go in with a Dominus as well. They're trying to see if they can get in. Flash not able to get the heal down. Now Cube is well on his way to being able to take down that 1v1. Hell, might have been able to take down the 2v1 as well. Baron had been started here by RA, but it's so difficult to go for this one. There's so much poke.
The TP, though, is going to come in. They're trying to force IG into comfortable positions. Hung, exactly. He can flash over
No, he's been spotted. He's been spotted. He no way he can get out of this one unless he flashes away. So has to use the Ignite, has to use his full combo and his Unbreakable Will, which immediately stops all of this engage. Good ward into the back of the red pit there from the side of IG.
Good play from Ore to see, hey, look, this is how we actually just close this game out. Hung getting that play, getting the Baron after that team fight. But IG with the heads up on the vision, making sure they can spot any flanking. I don't know. I mean, I think if TheShy literally just ults left, he can still get the stun and then walk away from this. But I think he thought that his team was going to be coming down a little bit faster. But Shun, very late to the party. He didn't want Lucas to commit his TP to get towards this bottom side either. And a lot invested there from IG and a lot of gold given across.
Yeah, we are now at an equal game state. 30 seconds until that Cloud Drake spawns. Everyone from IG has to reset if they want to try and make that a win condition as such, but that because of that, they do lose pressure in that mid side. Runan's Hurricane has just been finished up for both AD carries, so that's kind of the key point here for now, both the Varus and the Aphelios.
And Ore, you can see it here, denying vision. What they want to do is force IG to move in here blind. You can see TheShy, not particularly tanky with the build that he's gone, like no armor, no magic resist. Same when you look at the entirety of the team. So if you're walking in blind to Orianna balls, into Leyan, in towards Hung as well, that is going to cause major issues for IG.
walking in blind, but you can keep throwing in spears, keep throwing in those arrows to keep
the pseudo spear.
The pseudo
vision.
Yeah,
even.
the pseudo vision you pick up there with the spears. Cube has found himself on the backside. They jump straight in on top of Wink, who has to be devoured straight away. The dominance has been popped. Exhaust goes down as well. Moonlight Vigil completely whiffs, and Leyan is out of this fight. He cannot really stay. He has nothing, and now Cube, he's getting kited out. Yes, he's being jumped on top of the backside. Will we have to kill him? Yes, he will. He gets the kill onto the Varus, and now what can you do if your rookie Leyan is dead? It's all on Shun. IG are a little bit scattered to the 4 wins right now, and they will lose this team fight. It's RA who come out on top.
We never said that these fights were going to be clean, but RA thrive in that chaos incarnate. Now they're able to move over towards this dragon, and again, great plays from the key members of RA. Hung getting that play on towards Varus, having the flank coming in towards Cube as well. These are the difference makers in these fights.
Wink had flash. I don't understand. Like, you should have been told that Cube didn't have his from the previous skirmish down bot side. You could have created the distance, just being very greedy. But like you said, Hung setting this one up fantastically to force all of the early kind of escape routes.
Yeah, and you can see Wink there. He burns the heal to keep himself safe. FoFo, I love this flash over the wall, because look how much he's able to zone Wink back with that ball control, buying time and space for Cube. But the CC, it lasts for so damn long, and then again, we're coming back towards this other half of the fight, which is going on the bottom side, where TheShy just isn't able to deal the damage. He's not able to pick off the members of RA, and it's a 3-for-1 in favor of IG, or RA.
Alright, yeah, they get the dragon as well, and actually great flash from iBoy to just keep himself away from the Mega Gnar right into the wall. And you can see right now IG trying to use that little bit of reset time to get themselves back onto the map, get themselves around this Baron push. They still have the TP here from Rookie, but FoFo's used his twice in the same time and hasn't really lost anything because of it. There hasn't been any kind of like global plays coming out here from the IG mid laner, and that's kind of concerning. It means that FoFo's kind of being quote-unquote unpunished for basically just roaming in and kind of just getting whatever the hell he wants.
I mean, look, RA, they're in such a good spot right now. We talked about like the delay that FoFo's going to have on item spikes. He's Luden's Tempest and Banshee's Veil. He will one-shot anyone on IG that doesn't have magic resist. And then as well, when you add on top of that, like the fact that Hung has gone towards the Shrelia Reverie, or Shrelia's Battle Song, even giving all that extra speed up towards everyone on his team, Cube can get into position perfectly. Leyan is just going to turn on the NOS at any point in time and chase down IG. Like, it makes it really hard for IG to try and play their game, especially when they're playing in the dark like these big objectives are.
Tense moment here now for RA and IG. It kind of feels like whoever kind of takes the next big fight should be the one to come out on top.
There's a really good ward though for TheShy. If he can hit Mega, look at that ward in the mid lane. He can TP to that, cut off the entirety of RA, and get on towards this backline.
Here we go, Battle Song down. They jump out on top of Lucas, who's forced to flash away. So it's both supports losing their flash. Important to recognize, Lucas did not use his exhaust, whereas Hong used his ignite. So that little extra kill pressure, not quite there. TheShy jumping in on top of the 2 tanks. He's feeling frisky, he's feeling good with that Black Cleaver, just shredding down the armor as much as he can. Mega Gnar has been hit. They're going to use it to try and steal away these Raptors, and they will get them down. But now, where is the play here from IG? Looks like they're going to jump straight onto Hong, who actually finds himself on top of Lucas. A little bit of a misclick there. The rest of the fight is there. You can see they're not going to get much purchase with the Moonlight Vigil. A lot of ultimates used, not a lot happening, and everyone just backs away.
Both AD carries whiffing on the ultimates means there's no real follow-up there for either side. Now, IG will get priority on this mid lane, and the fact that Hung is out of the equation, Cube is out of the equation, they have such a quick Baron take, they're going to turn towards it as IG.
There is a TP be available for the top side. Look at that ward right there. They could get the Renekton in there if they so choose. Never mind, they're going to go for the safer option up onto the ramp. Now Leyan, a little bit of trouble, takes down about half his HP. There's no vision here for RA. They don't know if IG are going for it just yet, and TheShy is playing keep away.
TheShy is trying to keep control of this mid lane, making it very difficult for RA to move across, and IG now in this river. Cube trying to get that flank position, but look at where iBoy and FoFo are. Like, it's not like a front to back style fight for this. The back line is separated from RA's front line.
Baron's still in the dark here. You see them now using the Scryer's Bloom, the Scryer's Orb, excuse me, The waves are very much in favor of RA. Top, off, both pushing in their favor. They actually get mid as well. So IG cannot stay here. They would lose too much. As we can see, IG just testing the waters a little bit. Wink going to be the guy to keep everything in that mid lane kind of nicely set up for themselves. But now with a minute till the dragon, you've got yourself an open Baron pit. You've defended all this vision, but then you're just going to lose it again.
Yeah, I think honestly the best call here for both sides is kind of just abandon the dragon. I think you need to keep control over this dragon area. IG, they do it so incredibly fast with the composition that they have, and RA's composition relies on kind of catching IG in these enclosed areas where they're able to find flank positions or even just great engages for Hung. Downside, obviously, with Hung having to use that flash in the last fight, won't have it available for this next engagement, and that can make it very tricky to close the gap on towards Rookie or onto Wink.
Show you how kind of, important this Baron is, that it sets up RA for the exact kind of team fight they want, but if you lose it and IG get it, the poke comp becomes a whole different level of annoying.
So for IG, they need to control these entries in towards rivers. Like, if you're able to keep a track of, like, the entry there where you have Emperor's Divide, you've got Chains of Corruption onto multiple members. Even TheShy with his ultimate, it becomes really hard. But RA keep looking to fight in these wider areas where it becomes very difficult for the IG to use those zone controls that they have available.
I'm loving this kind of, almost checkers movement, if you will, of like that side, left, right. It's like kind of like Hung goes in, Rookie tries to check him out, he backs out away. It's kind of in, out, weaving between the two different kind of parts of what this fight might be. Leyan, very fast, as he tries to just see if he can catch someone walking a little bit too far forward.
So Shun does get the Banshee's Veil off of FoFo, but FoFo answers back in return, some good damage on towards TheShy. But this is the poke, this is the prod that IG want. Now they're getting control of river, but alright, they're split. And remember what we said, if they can control Cube and FoFo getting in towards this river, it could be great for them.
Yeah, we'll see now. The dragon will go down in favor of IG. They will pick that one up. They jump straight in on top of Leyan, so that is the jungler dead. Again, a split fight. Aphelios has to run away. The rest of RA cannot stay. iBoy in a little bit of trouble. The Tahm Kench going to use the Abyssal Voyage to try and keep him away, but this is iBoy's moment, but the exhaust is enough to stop him from taking down the health bars. Dominus pop by Cube, but IG get the dragon, they get 2 kills. They might turn to Baron.
RA, a little bit silly, I will say, in that fight. Split call. Very much so with Leyan and iBoy trying to sneak that dragon away, but IG were happy to just walk straight through river. They knew that they could fight either around the choke or elsewhere. Now, TP's galore as FoFo. They know you're there.
Yeah, they gotta have a feeling that you're around here, FoFo. There's no real kind of setup, and now without your Banshee's Veil, you have to back away. They still have Flash on Cube, and they do not have the Dominus. They will have the Shockwave available to FoFo as we try and go for this fight. The ward has been put down. RA looking to try and make exactly what happened in the last game come to fruition, but we'll see now they're not able to get anything going for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Baron has gone the way of IG. They're going to be totally in control of this. You can send TheShy off to a side lane, Rookie can do so as well, get these lanes back in their favor, and then look to just cause chaos with being able to maneuver around where TheShy can start to group towards some of these towers in mid as the rest of Wink, Lucas, and Shun push in.
And it's exactly what we talked about when we said in the champ select of, like, you're relying on, Leyan, Cube, and Hung to be in the right place, the right time, to get those flanks down. And if you're not able to get that, then your kind of whole, team fight is just not really going to be kind of happening for them.
I mean, look, it's already hard enough here as IG. They are consistently having to try and scope out where Hung is, scope out where Cube is, even Leyan as well. But now that they've got the Baron, their siege can really come online if they want to. Just group up as 5. You can have even a 1-4 kind of style with TheShy playing off to one side lane if you want. And there's no real pressure on the map. It's not like you have to back off for a dragon that you have to try and hold on to. I mean, how they even have the dragon advantage right now. So IG have a lot to play with. They just need to take it slow. And that's kind of where we start to see IG fumble sometimes.
Looking down the items, you can see 3 items pretty much across the board for everybody. You've got, almost pretty much full Rabadons here for Rookie, so he's going to be very happy and very online very, very shortly. Have got 3 items on the Aphelios, so that, 200 years is possible to the side of RA if they get the right engagement, but good wave clear in the mid lane does mean they're able to keep this turret alive for the at least one more wave.
Yeah, they will be able to get this tower, though, off of the next push. Like, you can have full control here as IG. Cube trying to make something happen bot side, but needs some help here at this stage if he wants to try and hold, and Ore will sacrifice mid lane turret to try and hold TheShy off the bot side.
Yep, as long as you don't lose your inhibitor turrets, you are in a much better position. The tier 2s are obviously nice to have, but they're not detrimental or critical to your game plan. You can get rid of them and they're not really going to be that big of an issue, but we can see there the Abyssal Voyage being popped up towards that top side. They're trying to get this momentum going. They're trying to get all those outer turrets down.
It's dot the I's and cross the T's, right? All they want to do is make sure, right, no more defensive structures out on the map for Ore. We can get vision, we can potentially catch iBoy, but...
Ooh, that's the tower. That's just the tower right there. So they'll be able to push that one in. That's all 6 outer turrets now taken down, and this is exactly what the problem is, though, for the side of RA. If iBoy gets caught with that instant CC, the rest of the damage that comes down, rains down on top of him, is just immense. He won't survive.
Yeah, and it's a hard call here for iBoy, like, not taking the cleanse. You don't want it when it's only Wink who really has that CC that's going to cause you issues, but I think at this stage, with Wink having a lot of pressure and the way that iBoy needs to get into close quarters and kind of try and chase down the fight, I really think he needs to opt in towards some sort of QSS at this stage.
All right. Flashes pretty much across the board, all available. So full summoners here apart from a TP or 2. We are seeing to see 3 items. Also, important to notice, Rookie has a stopwatch. Shun has a Zhonya's as well. This next team fight around the Dragon Soul could be pivotal.
Keep your eyes on Hung. If he can find the engage, it will be perfect. That's the...
Oh, Hung goes in. They're going to try and get this one going straight away, but they can't get the damage down, and Wink takes down the cow. Rookie pushing forward. They know they have the advantage. They flash in. iBoy flashes away. TheShy not quite able to get that one. Flash forward there for on top of Rookie, but Cube, where's the rest of your team? Where's the rest of your damage? Hysterics is popped just to try and keep him alive, and now iBoy, separated from his team, has to head for the hills. They will not get the Abyssal Voyage as TheShy keeps trying to run him down, but that should mean Cloud Soul for the side of IG.
Yeah, they're going to back away and try and pick this up. Unfortunately for them, couldn't quite finish off Ore, who are running for the hills, so IG will take this Dragon Soul. They won't be able to crack the base, but now the thing is, IG are creating this objective on the map that again Ore can look to play around. 1:30 until Baron will be one fight. 6 minutes time will be another fight for that Elder Dragon, and you can see if Ore can find the right tools to get the engage off, it looks great. The problem there is, I mean, we'll probably get on the replay here, Hung picks the entirely wrong targets to go on to.
Yeah, you can see his idea. He's looking for Wink. He tries to push forward on top of this, but then kind of just like decides he wants to go onto the Tahm, Kench, and TheShy, and that's just not what it is. And the shockwave wasn't quite in range. He walked a little bit too far back, and yeah, just a little bit unfortunate there from the side of RA.
I also think it's a bit of a misplay coming through from Hung. Honestly, I think the best way to play that is actually to headbutt on towards the Tahm, Kench, then use the Q as you flash to guarantee the pulverize on towards Wink. But as we say, look, if you're not in position there as FoFo to follow up with the shockwave, that is all going to fall apart. And a mistake there from the mid laner of Ore with just tethering that range with Hung means that IG just about get out of that.
Well, speaking of a mistake there, Hung taking a bit of punishment here as TheShy runs forward. It's a 5v4 at the moment. Wink finally joins his team. Baron's on the card, 17 seconds. RA are not really in position right now. They're going to have to walk into this one a little bit blind.
Yeah, and especially when you need Hung to find these opportunities, or Cube and Leyan to get these flanks, IG controlling this space incredibly well makes it hard to do so.
See the extra little bit of damage being trucked out there. The spears, the arrows. You don't have a flash on iBoy. Be aware of that. You do have a flash on Wink. So a little bit of extra safety here for the IG AD carry versus the RA one. Now, with Hung taking about half his HP, he's going to look to try and CS that one there. They're still looking towards this one. They're still being baited right now by IG. They've yet to start this Baron. There's no real kind of moment here for either of them. As we can see, TheShy getting jumped on. He will take a fair bit of punishment, but give just as good as he got as he jumps straight now on top of Hung, who has to use the Unbreakable Will. Now Leyan and Hung separated. The flash forward does catch out one. Shockwave as iBoy tries to keep himself alive, but they are scooped all the way back into the loving arms of the IG AD carry, and the rest of RA need to run away with their tails between their legs. They cannot survive this fight. Cube gonna see a teleport coming in as well. He is not want to try and make sure that his Alistar gets killed, so he's going to try and keep away from that, but they will keep trunning him down. TP going to be used here from TheShy as they just look to try and end the game.
Scooped, booped, and duped out of a win there. IG will completely close this game out, as all the Hun can do is watch as... God damn it, Cube. You're trying real hard, man. You're trying real hard.
Well, he tried his hardest, but wasn't enough. And Dagda, 1-1. We're now down to a best of 3.
I know, and as well, we're seeing how both these teams can play, right? When IG get these early leads, they don't let go. They really want to try and snowball it. Well, actually, I take that back. They don't let go until they let go at a Baron.
Yes.
But after that,
they let go when they don't need to let go.
Yes. But I think here, we can see that IG are willing to play a much slower paced game. They can do a lot when they've got this range. And I love what they came out with in the draft. We said, hey, look, hang on. You're seeing the early Renekton. You're seeing this early Udyr. We can just play from range. We can actually use the Nidalee. We can use the fact that we can go towards Varus and just play our style of game where we poke them out.
Yeah, honestly, and I like seeing Rookie on Azir felt so much better than seeing him on the Rise. He looked so much more comfortable. Yes, it's not his like bread and butter kind of champion, but even just kind of, you know, the kind of, I think it was like second most played, I believe, in the season. So like he has had a lot of time to get used to this meta, and it just looked better for the side of IG. And again, Shun on this Nidalee was just really on point. I really feel like the adaptation here from RA is to ban away that Nidalee.
I do agree with that point. I also think, forget about the Renekton.
Yeah.
Can we just leave the Renekton? Because 2 games now is like...
Dead.
The problem in game 1 for IG was, hey, we don't have range to deal with the range on Ora. The problem in game 2, when Ora go for the Renekton first pick, hey, we don't have the range to deal with IG. Like, what did you expect? You just need to get rid of this. Go back towards basics. If you want Cube to go towards Scions or the Orans, I'm totally down for that. I think he looks really good, and especially in trying to keep at bay from TheShy, I think you can do a lot of work. Hell, even if they want to go towards the Jace, I think that was actually relatively good when they were to play around it in their last series. But honestly, I think when you start to go towards this very early Renekton pick, you just open yourself up to too much in the draft.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think we'll see maybe a pivot, if you want to call it that, from the side of RA. And this is what I'm excited for. This is actually something I genuinely get excited for. The mini metas, as I like to call them. The mini metas in a best of 5. So now we've seen 2 pretty similar drafts coming out from either side. They've swapped out, obviously, the Lucian ban. They didn't pick it in the first game, or they picked it in the first game, banned it in the second game. It's like, okay, cool. Is the Lucian now a priority pick? Is the Renekton now just completely down in the dust, or do they double down on it? That's what I love seeing from these teams, and it'll be curious to see now how RA really do react to this, because for IG, realistically, they should be 2-0 up. They should be 2-0 on the precipice of 3-0ing and moving on to the next series, but they're not. So then they have to kind of go back in, reset, and get themselves ready for this next game.
Yeah, I think the big one for me, there's just so many answers with the Renekton. Like, we looked about the range, right? You can still go towards Quinn. There's still too many options. Dump it. Let's see what else is in the tank.
And well, we will see. We are going to go to a break. When we return, game 3 of this best of 5 will be right around the corner.